Hey everyone, this is Brooks Campbell, voice of Ikmur and sometimes the infamous Edward Turner. We are coming out with some very exciting news in the next few weeks regarding the direction of the podcast and everything that we're doing. But those of you on Discord are getting it this week, so feel free to chime in with us there. We are always active, and you too can get in on it if you like. If you join our Discord, get ready for episode 34, A Strange Mwangi in a Strange Land.
Do you like liquor and things that go boo? Then buckle up, listener, cause this one's for you. Prepare yourself for the Hideous Laughter Podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Hideous Laughter Podcast, episode 34. When I was a young boy, my father took me to see the carnies and join the crooked kin.
All right.
You guys are about to meet some goddamn carnies this episode, but first, we gotta figure out what the fuck you're drinking. Steve, what are you drinking, bud?
Griffin, I'm glad you brought this up because I think our listeners have waited long enough
The buildup is insane.
for this hashtag Team Slurp episode. It's been a really long time since I've done it. I got a tall boy of hams in my hand. You're correct. That's the sound of me cracking it open, and you're going to want to dampen those audio outputs. You know who on No Slurp.
Team Slurp, crack them if you got them.
Oh, that feels good. That feels good.
Really miss that?
I do. It's been a minute.
It has. It's been a couple episodes.
We all feel so bad for you.
Yeah, it looks like you're physically hurting yourself, usually.
I'm taking years off my life.
I thought you were going to go double dip on the slurp.
Oh, no, I just wanted more of this refreshing hams.
Good for you for abstaining.
We need a warning for that.
We do need a slurp
I warn
warning.
him. I warn him.
Brooks, speaking of warnings, warn me about what the fuck is in that cup.
This is a plastic cup. We can talk about that later, but
Are you concerned about BPAs or something?
no, I'm concerned about the glass and the fact that I may or may not have cracked one at one point here.
Several
or
times.
two. Who knows? Who's counting? But
He has a
anyways,
sipping cup.
I would imagine Griffin and Haley are counting.
We are counting. The tab is rising.
anyways, this is a orange vanilla rum and Coke, but also a little bit of orange bitters in it to kind of cut that sweetness.
Spice it up a bit.
Yeah, I think it works very well.
It sounds pretty good. I mean, at the beginning you were drinking those and it didn't seem very sophisticated, but now you've made it this beverage that, can only be called the Brooks.
I appreciate that. It's not the tip of my culinary iceberg.
Yeah, but unfortunately, like, Manhattans have a name and most of the drinks you make have a name. This one, uncharted territory, dude.
That's right. This is the Mwangi expanse of drinks right here.
Speaking of the Mwangi Expanse, Haley, what are you drinking?
That makes literally no sense.
I'll be the arbiter of what does and does not make sense. Who are you to say where your character came from?
I am the only one who should say that. Literally, I'm the only one.
Lies and slander, folks. You heard it here first.
Oh, good lord. I am in control of my character, but me, myself, I'm also in control of my drink, and I'm drinking Captain and Coke.
How typical. Well, it's not Pepsi, so actually it's atypical.
Yeah, we didn't have Pepsi.
How does it feel to be drinking the superior cola?
I don't care as much, but I prefer Pepsi.
Awful.
Speaking of superior colas, Emily, what are you drinking?
I am also drinking an orange vanilla Coke with rum, but without any bitters, because I think it tastes better that way.
Hear that? Shots fired.
So she's having a Brooks Light.
There you go. I
Brooks
like
Light. A Diet Brooks.
That's hilarious, and I guess we know who's going to be sleeping on the couch tonight.
Jesus.
Speaking of sleeping on the couch, I am drinking a rum and Coke.
Did you continue to control my character's backstory? Maybe.
So, guys, you just defeated this phase spider. There's still some tracks in the swamp. What are you doing right now? Are you searching the phase spider for loot? Please tell me you are.
Yeah, I guess Matumbe might, kick it over with his boot, watch it roll over,
Roll me a perception check, Steve.
get a better look at it. 13 on the die. That's looking like a 19 total.
19 total. You kick it over and you hear the jangling of metal.
Ooh.
You thought I was kidding, huh?
A jangly spider. I would like to check it out, yeah.
So, I described this phase spider last episode, but it is a woman's head on a spider body. And this woman is wearing a necklace.
Oh, shit.
I'll take that.
So you take the necklace off, and it has this strange... It's much like a spider symbol. It almost looks like an arachnid. Many branches of gold around a red ruby in the center of the jewel, basically, of the pendant of this necklace.
Eclipse, I found something interesting on the spider. Would you be able to use your occult abilities to tell me a little bit more about this item?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take a look at it.
And you hold it, right?
Yeah.
And you can tell that it is an amulet of natural armor +1.
Ooh.
That's pretty cool.
21 AC.
What?
Nothing.
That's what I thought.
Matumbe, this looks actually just like that necklace that I got a while ago. It'll be really valuable for anyone who doesn't have the best armor.
Yes, I just picked up a ring of protection that you all graciously let me have. I would like to take my name out of the ring if we are giving this to somebody.
I also have a ring of protection.
I mean, I could take it if you guys really want to. I'd be happy to.
There's a ring of protection and amulet of
They do
natural-
stack.
Yeah, they stack.
So a ring of natural armor is a +1 enhancement bonus to your natural armor. So if you don't have natural armor, it gives you a +1 natural armor. If you had +3 at natural armor, it would give you +4. A ring of protection, I believe, is a deflection bonus to your AC, but I'm not positive.
Yeah, I knew they didn't stack. I just
No,
got
they
the
do.
last-
They do stack.
Oh no,
That's
I'm
what
sorry.
saying, yeah.
Now I just don't know how to talk. I knew that they stacked. I just got the last armor boost, so I would kick it to anybody else.
Refer
at the
to the
table.
gang.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing is that Eclipse has one, right? You have an amulet of natural armor.
Yeah.
Do you have a ring of protection?
No.
So you might be able to barter that.
Unless Ick wants it. Like, Ick
Oh
doesn't
yeah,
have
if
either.
Ick wants it and everybody's cool with that, then Ick should have it.
Ikmur already has a 22 AC, and if that's higher than the rest of you guys, I feel like Matumbe, the frontliner, should probably take it.
Well, I mean, there's the other thing that you need to consider where generally you are playing Ikmur as a character that almost tries to get into harm's way. I don't know that, Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you're really playing Matumbe as much that way.
I haven't yet. I think that's been more of a symptom of how these encounters have been. But I mean, my AC is a 20. It's pretty good.
Okay, and to be honest, building on my feat progression, I think that this could be something that I would use.
Yeah, if another one comes along, I'll snag it. Otherwise, go ahead and take this one right now, man.
Yeah, you guys are going to a big city. You'll have a little bit of time to spend some cash, too, if that's something you want to do. So, for now, Ikmur, 23 AC, monster. Now, there's the issue in front of you where you have not found Poppy. Ikmur alluded to this in the battle, that he was able to see the tracks still continuing to the north. Is that something that, you guys are now following?
Guys, even though you're very nice to give me this this ruby thing with some gold on it, and to be honest, it makes me feel a little bit better, but I definitely think that we need to find Poppy as soon as possible. I'm a little worried for her, all alone.
Yeah, I'm worried about her too. I really hope that we found this spider before it found her.
If the phase spider was able to mimic her voice, I fear that it probably already killed her or worse. Let's continue to find her, but be warned, I think we will find her end at the end of these tracks.
So you guys follow the tracks, and I'm going to roll over Ikmur's survival check during the combat because that has not been that long. You are able to follow the tracks, and you follow them to the north, and you exit the clearing, and you kind of reach... This clearing almost appears to be high ground. It's maybe in the middle of this marsh that you trek through. You have this area of high ground and a couple of tall trees, and then this clearing. So you almost crest this small hill as you're walking through, and then you begin to descend again, and you can see the marsh water in front of you. I need everyone to make me a perception check. What you got?
13 for Lyra.
21 for the Matumbe.
16 for Ikmur.
Same here. 16.
16. So Matumbe is the only one that's able to hear this. And he hears it coming from the east. As you guys kind of approach the water's edge, he hears... And it's this labored breathing, almost unlike anything you've heard. It just sounds like pain incarnate. It sounds like somebody who's just on the brink of death.
Can I do a sense motive check because we know that the phase spider is able to copy voices?
Yes, you may.
Cool. Oh, sweet. That's a 17 off the die. 23 total.
This sounds human.
Eclipse, Lyra, Ikmur, I believe we may have found Poppy. Follow me.
So are you running towards the source of the sound?
I'll do haste.
All due haste, and you find in these tangled reeds a body that is from the waist down submerged in the water of the marsh, and from the waist up, fortunately, lying on the bank in these like cattails and the kind of reeds that are all around a source of water. She's deep in them, and she would have almost been impossible to see had you not heard her gasping. But now you see this girl, and she's she looks almost identical to the two that you saw when you met the Crooked Kin. She's kind of laying there in the muck, and you can see signs of struggle. And you see her laying there. Her skin looks paper thin, and you can see these just angry black blood vessels through her body. Her lips are purple, and you see on her shoulder this, you swear if you look at it long enough, you can see it pulse, this bite mark. And she's laying there, and it's as if she doesn't have the strength to move or do anything. She's laying there, but you can tell that she's alive. You can hear her breathing. You can see her chest rise and fall. What do you do?
Lyra would like to run up to her and do a heal check. It's a 15.
With a 15, and because you've been bitten by the phase spider, I'm going to give this to you. It looks like she is drained to 2 constitution. You know that when somebody reaches 0 constitution, they die permanently, whether it's from damage or whatever. Anyone else, as you relay this knowledge, can make a knowledge arcana.
Okay, I will.
Ikmur would love to if he had it.
Oof.
This is where I put my knowledge arcana, if I had one.
That's a 20 for Lyra.
Really? I didn't realize you had knowledge arcana.
I have a 1 and I rolled a 19.
Dang, girl.
Nice. I got a 13 off the die. My Matumbe die is rolling pretty hot tonight. That brings me up to a 21.
21.
I rolled a 15, so I have 23.
23. The 3 of you know, after fighting this thing and seeing kind of its tactics, you watched it on the battlefield, you watched it wound Lyra, and then kind of, as she ran away, try and outflank her and attack her. You know that this is a sneaky predator, and you surmise that this is a predator that often goes without food for a long period of time. What you're getting from this, both this heal check and then your cumulative knowledge arcana check, is that it brought her down as far as it could before killing her. It kept her alive so that she would remain fresh for when it decided to consume her. But she is alive now because you've taken out the threat.
That's what I get for not preparing Lesser Restoration.
We do have a wand, though.
Oh, we sure do.
Guys, I think it's important to address the poison that she's clearly got. I definitely don't have that kind of ability, but do one of you guys?
I cannot cure her poison, but I can certainly treat her wounds and help her make it through that.
Mechanically, it's a heal check to help her on her saving throw against poison.
Yeah, I think Matumbe would know that in the time it took you from the fight to go find her, she would have either succumbed to the poison or survived the poison. So I think Matumbe is relatively certain that she's no longer taking the poison damage.
Oh, she's just on death's door.
She's taken so much con damage now that she's literally a husk of a person.
She's alive, but just barely.
I don't think Cure Light Wounds will be enough for this. I think we'll need some restoration to bring her back.
I definitely agree with that. Do you want me to run back to the Crooked Kin? That way, one of them might be able to do something right away, and I can take them right to her.
I mean, would it be worth it to carry her back? And then if they can't do anything, maybe then we help?
I agree with Eclipse on this. She is on death's door, almost about to meet Pharasma. But I do think she is safe to carry, to move.
We can't have that.
We can't. We'll do what we can.
Okay. So she's alive. Everybody make a perception check.
Shouldn't have switched die. That goes up to a 9.
Oh, a 9. Great.
That's dumb.
7.
13.
Ikmur's at a 20.
Ikmur, you almost can see. You think you see it for a second, and then it dissipates. You can almost see the webs on the ethereal plane around this area. You know this was a spider's nest. And you find several things as I think your friends are aiding Poppy as she's kind of down on the ground. You kind of survey the area and you see a couple glints. You see glints of light, glints of the moon is maybe flashing off of something in this area. This spider had more victims than Poppy. You find a potion of magnifying glass, a small wooden box, and you find a walnut, it looks like a traveling case, and a jar. And then further, you can see what looks like a body, but it's skeletal at this point. you can tell that it's maybe only 4'2". It's very short, but the bones look thick. And that's what you find.
Hey guys, I just wanted to point out that I think this is the area that the spider was actually trying to draw her to, and I can actually see a couple other things here. There's a couple other, and so that I don't sink in, I'm actually gonna just take some of these cattails and lay them down on the surface, so I have a little bit wider area to walk down on.
He's going to walk down on the cattails.
So what Ikmur is going to do is just lay them down to the side while he walks on top of them, so that it's a wider area and he doesn't sink in
to the mud.
Yeah, sink into the mud like the girl did.
Oh, Ikmur with his handy-dandy survival skill that he didn't roll, but I will give that to you, because that's how Ikmur would have played that. So, you find these things, but Ikmur does not have detect magic or spellcraft or even appraise, so I imagine he just gathers these things up, probably aside from the body.
Eclipse would be right at the top of the hill or whatever, right at the top of the start of the cattails, waiting to grab whatever Ick might be passing.
Okay.
Yes, Ikmur would definitely do that, and definitely be more concerned about the state of Poppy rather than the
getting these
equipment.
things.
Exactly. He knows that time is of the essence here, and he is on a rescue mission.
Well, luckily with your perception check and your quick thinking about the cat o' nine tails, you are not stuck in the mud, and you are able to gather these things very quickly, within 12 seconds, call it 2 rounds. You just scoop these things up and you bring them to Eclipse. Eclipse, I'm going to give this to you. They are a potion of Fox's Cunning is the potion. The magnifying glass, actually, I would like you to roll an appraise on some of these things. So roll me an appraise and I'll apply it.
I'd like to aid.
Natural 20 on that aid?
20 on
Nice.
the aid.
It's a lot of aids.
Perfect.
By the way, you do know what a cat o' nine tails is, right?
I do. I'm thinking of literally a cattail, which is, I'm pretty sure, what the
Yeah, you're
reed
thinking
with
of a
the-
cattail.
yeah.
Yep.
I keep going back and forth. I really want to play Skulls and Shackles now.
Anyways, I got a 28 appraise with Steve's help.
28 appraise is more than enough to give you what all of these things are. The magnifying glass, you can tell, has a gold handle and is worth 100 gold. The wooden box contains a set of brass weights, but with that appraise check, you're actually checking it out, and you can see that it has a false bottom. You open it up, it contains 3 silver ingots worth 100 silver pieces each, so 30 gold total. The walnut traveling case has a pair of superior locks, and the keys are there, but they are sealed in wax. And then you can tell that the jar contains pickled cloves worth 25 gold. So you're not sure what they are, but they are very rare.
Okay. At first, I thought you said it was a potion of magnifying glass. Which
No. The potion is a potion of Fox's Cunning, and then the magnifying glass is actually pretty valuable because it has a gold handle.
I was going to say, potion of magnifying glass is the most ridiculous thing ever. It literally just gives you a +2 bonus on appraise and replaces flint and steel. It's just the most ridiculous potion I've ever heard of.
I can appraise everything. For only
Amazing.
50 gold, I can appraise everything.
Yeah.
I imagine this potion has just water that actually just magnifies things. Like water normally
Look through the
does.
bottle. So those are the things you find. While you guys are doing this, Matumbe and Lyra, you are around Poppy. Is there anything you're doing right now?
Lyra will bend down next to her and just kind of whisper in her ear, "It's gonna be okay. We're taking you back to your troop now. and she'll cast guidance on her to help her on any saves or anything.
And you heard before her breathing as you guys approached kind of was like... And as you say this in her ear, her breathing slows a bit. And she's like... And she seems calmer at your touch. She realizes, I think... And again, she's so sick, she's probably hardly even realizing you are people until you touch her, give her guidance, and she can feel that kind of magic, and I think it just calms her down. But she's still stuck. She's still stuck in, like, the reeds and the mud, and half of her is below water.
Matumbe says, "Do not try to speak, girl. I'm going to try and get you out of the muck. Can you nod if you understand me?"
And you see, like, the most feeble nod you've ever seen, but it's, like, just maybe inches. Her head lifts off the ground before it lands back on the mud, and you can almost hear the slap. It's like that took so much effort for her to do.
Lyra, is there anything you can do for this girl before I try to move her? Maybe some sort of healing spell.
Yeah, can Lyra tell from that heal check she made, would a Cure Light Wounds help her at all, or is it more of her con damage?
You can tell that bite, the bite wound that's like throbbing on her shoulder, she took damage. She took actual damage, and then she continued to, like, she was maybe bitten once, and then she started to take the constitution damage that happens with this bite, and she was unable to save. And she just couldn't save, and that's why she's so frail right now. But she took, and I think Lyra would know, just as a character, that a character that is at 2 con is so depleted on hit points that even her taking a minimal amount of damage from the bite, which you know this thing could rock 17 points of damage.
That was painful.
Her taking a minimal damage on this bite would still leave her, like, bloodied if she's taking that much con as well.
After seeing the state that Poppy is in and how stuck she is, Ikmur would offer his help after grabbing the items to possibly, like, help dig her out.
Well, you have Matumbe for that, right?
Oh,
This is my time to shine. Aren't you glad I didn't die in book 1?
how could I forget Matumbe's profession? Digging graves, but for
I'm going to force you to take a skill point in Profession Gravedigger after all this.
I'll do that. I get enough skill points that I could burn one.
Keep going, though, Brooks. I like where your head's at.
That's exactly what Ikmur would do. Lay down next to her, dig out as much as he can, and with that, hopefully bring her legs up to where they don't create, like, a suction.
Okay, so I'm going to say that you're down helping her. What is Eclipse doing?
I was just going to say, the imagery right now is there's Lyra helping this girl, at least in a sense of calming her and healing her if needed. But, like, Lyra's doing that. Matumbe is digging her out. Ik's trying to dig her out. Eclipse is only looking through the stuff. All of the stuff you described, finding the hidden door and all that, like that, she would spend all of her time just kind of doing that. I don't think she would aid in this. There's already 3 people around her.
If she dies, she dies. I feel that. I like how you're playing your new alignment shift.
I don't even think it's that. It's like literally I have all the stuff.
No,
It
and
takes
Eclipse
time.
is the one that everyone comes to, figure out what stuff is, figure out what stuff's worth, do all
Right.
that. So that's totally understandable. It's just kind of cruel.
Yeah.
Is the only thing I'm going to say about that.
So while this is all happening, and like you guys are digging her out, like every now and then you'll just hear a clip. Oh, and this box is actually walnut. Oh, and it's got keys and locks in it. Pretty good. Some ingots. Yeah, no, looking good here, guys. Good outcome here. As you guys are all like, digging up this girl.
So those that are digging, I don't even need Matumbe to make a check if he is digging. I need Ikmur to make a strength check, though, because Ikmur is going to be the one, in my mind, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that is going to, once Matube gives a signal, like, I've got enough of her out, Ikmur's going to yank her right out of the swamp.
Before Ikmur tries to pull on anything, Lyra will kind of push him back and just say, hold on. I want to make sure she's okay before we try to move her. We could cause her more damage. And Lyra will bend down and touch the bite on her shoulder, casting Cure Light Wounds, and she'll be healed 10 points. And Lyra will, again, talk to her and say, it's not yet your time to leave this life. Stay with us.
And you can see her veins remain black. The throbbing seems to subside, and you can see kind of a blush return to her cheeks. Her skin doesn't seem as pale. It clearly helped. And I think with your heal check before, you know that she was rocking like the closest you could be to death.
All right, Lyra will turn around and say, that's all I can do for her now. I think it's time for us to move her back to her troop and see if they can do more.
You heard her, Ikmur. Give her a good yank.
Give that strength check, buddy.
All right, not awful. With a 10 total.
10 total. You're actually able to slide her out of the water. She's out of the water. She's on the ground. You weren't able to yank her, but she's not stuck in anything anymore. And that's mainly because you got the 15-minute gravedigger on your side digging her out. So she's really not stuck at that point, and you're able to slide her out. But you can tell she's kind of heavy. This is going to be a really long trek back. And she doesn't seem to show any signs of being able to walk or even move.
Ikmur, I guess we'll both have to get under her for this one.
I very much so agree. She definitely can't put any weight on her legs. She has these jello legs that happen to me every once in a while after I get hit really hard. They feel pretty funny after that.
You also get the jello legs when you have a little too much to drink, which we should really talk about. But we can wait for later.
Okay, you get one arm. I'll get under the other.
All right.
With that, you guys are out of danger, and you are heading back the way you came. I think it is much easier for Ikmur to follow his own tracks than to follow another's, and so it's pretty easy to get through the swamp, even though, normally it would be hard to do a survival check, but I think Ikmur knows the way he's gone. Now, it maybe took you 20 minutes to get to this spot. It was only a half a mile away, and you only had difficult terrain for part of it. It takes you the better part of 2 hours to get back. And by the time you're back, it is full dark. It is probably midnight, and you return on the carnival. And I think I'm going to need little larceny, since yesterday was National Whiskey Day.
Any excuse.
You guys come up to the Crooked Kin, and you see, basically seated on a bench in front of you, you see the other two triplets. You see the bearded lady, and I don't think you caught any of their names last episode because it got kind of frantic there. You could tell something was wrong. And you see this trio of clowns, and you see Kendra on the bench with the ladies. And the clowns are basically in the firelight trying to put on this show for their audience of 4. And they're, goofing around and doing this stuff. And you see Captain sitting kind of on the steps up to the caravan. He's sitting on those steps. He's got a glass in his hand. He's kind of sort of watching the clowns, but he looks contemplative.
So the clowns are trying to improve the mood a bit.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what you should take from this situation. Besides that, you should realize that Kendra looks like she's okay. You can see that she actually has her arm around one of the triplets, and she seems to be laughing. And it looks like the four that are watching are in somewhat better spirits than what you observed when you first met the crew. You guys approach. I imagine the girls are actually leading the group, Lyra and Eclipse, because the guys are shoulder to shoulder holding Poppy up. And they are taking the entire brunt of her weight. She is too weak to walk.
All right, so, lady over there with the beard and, Captain, please grab a bed and something to put poor Poppy on, and we'll put her on there and carry her back to her bed so she can get some good care.
And you yell this to the group, and you can see that they immediately start to mobilize, and the clowns stop acting. They couldn't really see you on the outskirts of their firelight, but they hear you yell, and they kind of grab a makeshift. You can see them, like the three clowns are fumbling around, as clowns do, making basically a makeshift stretcher. And as you approach, they have this cobbled together. Hey, boss, put her over here. Put her right there, says one of the clowns.
Right away.
And the other clown's like, oh, get her down quick.
So Ikmur and Matumbe lay her down on the cot.
Be careful. She is not well.
We got it. We can carry him from here.
She's barely hanging on to life. She needs some sort of restoration. Do you have that kind of power here?
And I think Caleb would step in here, the captain. What are you thinking she needs?
You see this bite here? We fought a spider, and it bit me too. It drains your constitution. She needs that restoration. I've healed her as much as I can. I'm not able to do anything more.
Oh my, we haven't seen this in a long time. We're gonna have to take her to Sajira. He kind of he claps his hands, and the clowns pick up the stretcher and they carry it into one of the frontmost caravans. And you can see that they're having a bit of trouble carrying her. They're not used to, they're not strong like you two. They carry her in, and Cap says, "Boy, I hope our Sajira can take care of her, and nothing you could do."
Can I join her? I would love to learn and attempt to aid in any way I can.
I think in times of crisis like this, it'd be important for you to join her. I'm sure she needs a helping hand, and the rest of us are not capable.
Captain, I have the magics of Pharasma that could help guide her back to life, but you must forgive me. I am very depleted, and it is very late. I imagine we'll be staying here tonight. Tomorrow morning I could assist the girl, and I will stay with her through the night. But at this time there is no healing I can provide. It would have to wait till morning.
I understand that completely. I do, but it seems this is more dire than we were expecting. I'm worried for the now. If it comes to being able to stabilize her and make sure she's all right, then by all means, tomorrow morning, whatever you can do to get her back to her old self, I would greatly appreciate.
I will do what I can.
And I'll see to at least the wound that she's got. I have seen a few wounds in my day, so
I can patch up a wound if really need be.
I also have flesh mend. I can just mend that right together if we need to.
Oh, that's even better.
Who wants to go with her and either be a part of the healing that is taking place now or watch her for the evening? But if you are watching her for the evening, you are likely not getting that much rest.
Yeah. I mean, Eclipse would literally just go in and make sure that that wound is closed and healed, and then get right out of there.
Okay. And I think Lyra had already taken care of that with the cure light wounds.
Okay.
Because she cast it directly on the spider bite.
Okay, if it's already taken care of, then never mind.
I guess Matumbe then would not stay the night with the girl, because if the captain is looking for that restoration tomorrow, Matumbe can't do that without a rest.
Lyra is quite worried for Poppy, so Lyra would spend the night with her and work with the other healer to try to keep her stable.
Ikmur would also be there at the same time. He is very concerned about her health, and they are now a part of the caravan in his mind, and so that would be concerning that someone would possibly see their end on his watch.
I love how quickly Ikmur assimilates other people on the road into his caravan. I imagine that he acted that way when he was a part of Professor Lorimore's caravan. That's just my headcanon, that he was that way.
Make him take a point in Caravan Guard.
Caravan Guard.
I already have.
Oh, wait.
All of my 0 points in perception have really pointed toward the caravan guard profession.
You were dumping points into Caravan Guard before perception?
Absolutely. I still don't have any.
God damn it.
Ikmur and Lyra head into this covered wagon. And they see this woman, and Poppy is lying on the floor. The clowns have left. And it is just this woman. You can see in kind of the light of the candlelight that she has illuminating this area, that she is a relatively olive-skinned, dark-haired woman in this just ornate suit of green and cerulean. She looks like she has the makings of a seer. If you've heard anything about carnivals and carnies and the Zarni and like the almost gypsy-like peoples that walk around Ustalav, you would immediately identify what this woman is. She's a seer. And right now, she has her hands on Poppy's chest. Lyra, make a spellcraft check.
12.
With a 12, you can't tell what she's casting, but you can see the white light emitting from her palms and into Poppy, and you see the almost black blood vessels of Poppy turn a more natural shade, and you hear her take one gasp, and then she seems to be breathing normally. Oh, hello. Who are you?
My name's Lyra, and this is Ikmur. We found Poppy practically on death's door. I did the best that I could, but obviously it wasn't enough to bring her fully back.
Hi, milady. This is
Damn it.
Ikmur, and she's taken a spider bite, and we experienced the same thing when we fought it. There isn't any more worry in this area that you need to worry about, but she definitely needs a lot of health quickly, so that hopefully she doesn't pass away in the night.
She hears both of you, but her eyes turn to Ikmur as he talks. Lyra, make a perception check.
9.
You don't see anything out of the ordinary, but she pauses for a time, like longer than you would have expected for someone that just engaged you in conversation. And she responds, "My name is Sajira. Welcome to the Crooked King. Welcome, my little prince." And she says this looking directly at Ikmur. And then she kind of resumes her duties with Poppy. If you wish to learn, you must watch. And she proceeds to dress the wound, even though it's been, healed by magic. It is still a wound, and she's dressing her. She's almost praying over her. It seems odd to both of you when she pours some wax from one of the candles on her in a strange symbol. Are you looking at this symbol?
Lyra is definitely curious.
Make a knowledge religion.
So that's a 5 because I rolled a 1.
So you can see that this symbol appears to be in the shape of a butterfly. You don't understand the significance of that.
Oh, are you sure that's the best thing there? I mean, hot wax, in my opinion, would probably hurt a bit.
Trust me, Ikmur. She will not feel this. I know you're worried. You brought her back from a terrible situation, but I have her now. Just watch. She will be all right.
Okay, I guess. I trust you, and just make sure that she's okay.
And you guys sit and you watch her do various things in the tent. And at a certain point, she does ask, "Will you stay the night with me? Will you stay here and keep a vigil? Either of you. I just need somebody to make sure I stay awake."
Milady, I would be honored to make sure that the party, including all of your folk, is safe through the night. Lyra, why don't you go to bed? I know that your abilities are more dire than mine, so feel free, get your rest, and I will see you in the morning.
Thank you for your sacrifice, Ikmur. Make sure to wake me if I can be any help. And thank you for letting me watch your practice.
Oh, it is no problem. If you wish to speak to me in the morning, I could tell you more. I could teach you what I know.
I would be honored. I know I haven't caught everything tonight, but I do not want to disrupt you. I know this is a very delicate time.
And so Lyra goes to bed and Ikmur remains in the tent. And we'll fade out of the tent for now. What are Eclipse and Matumbe doing at this point?
So Matumbe is going to kind of casually wander around the camp, but it's a very intentional wander. He's headed towards the other Mwangi man that he saw.
I think Matumbe, being semi-perceptive, can see that you guys went into the woods. Nobody went to bed. Everybody is awake. There's still activity, even though it's the middle of the night at this point. There's activity everywhere, and he heads towards the Mwangi man, and he sees this man kind of propped up in a chair, but this time he's by himself. And someone has done him the service of opening up a book and kind of leaving it in front of him, and you see him kind of use his tongue to reach forward and turn the page. He seems to be reading, and he seems to be deep in thought. You approach him?
Yes, sir.
Hello, my forlorn brother.
Oh, hello. I have not seen a man from the Expanse in a while.
I imagine this is true. We are both far from home.
Foreigners in a strange land, am I right?
Foreigners in a strange land indeed. Would it be more convenient for you if we spoke in our native tongue?
Does this man have polyglot?
He certainly does.
All right. So Matumbe addresses him in polyglot then.
So headphones off for all
For
of
everyone
us.
else.
Yeah. Just kidding. I think we're gonna keep them on.
And he addresses you and he says,
Well, if no one can hear us, my stage name is Prince Czar.
Prince Czar.
Prince Czar, if you could believe it.
I can.
The folk here believe anything you tell them.
And what is it you told these fools?
Well, I am a abdicated Mwangi prince, of course. They don't see many people from our neck of the woods.
No. Though we have the same characteristics of the ones around us.
Well, you are more ambulatory than I.
Even I am looked upon as a curiosity to most around here.
Well, imagine having no limbs, and then tell me how curious the populace looks upon you.
You have me there.
But what brings you to Ustalav?
Well, I originally arrived for a funeral for a friend.
Oh, you had Ustalavan friends. Interesting.
It is a long story.
I believe it. That is how I got here. A series of long stories.
I am now helping preside over this one's estate. And he motions towards Kendra. I don't know if she's around.
she's still kind of like sitting with Poppy's siblings.
The last thing me and my compatriots have to do is escort this young woman to Lepidstadt.
Ah, Lepidstadt, that's where we are heading.
Yes, maybe we should travel together. Strength in numbers, of course.
A person like me, I cannot give you strength, but I do appreciate the strength someone like you may be able to give. All I can give is knowledge.
Well, I would appreciate this knowledge.
You do know, a person like I do a lot of reading in my spare time.
And what are you reading now?
Much on the history of this land. The history of where we find ourselves now. And what they think of us.
I find the history of this place and the North in general fascinating. So different from the Carrions we know.
Very different.
Have you learned anything interesting lately?
You know, this area became free principalities not long ago. Not long ago at all. They had counts, rulers, kings in Ustala before you or I ever set foot or lack thereof on this land.
Fools they are.
Silly work of the Ustalavan men. They build these temples. They build these shrines, and what do they have from it? Well, nothing.
Not much.
They live in the shadow of their past.
Is it a particularly troubled past? Forgive me, I've been here a month, but don't know much about Ustalav.
Forgive me if I haven't seen it, but I do have eyes. You are a follower of Pharasma.
Oh, have you read the book?
In my many years, I have happened upon it, but I have not read it religiously as maybe you have.
I'll stop you guys right here. Matumbe is not converting this man to Pharasma.
So I imagine that Matumbe has been standing the entire time, and much like a very cool, like, non-denominational pastor, grabs the chair, spins it around, and sits down.
God damn it. So, Matumbe asks if he has read The Bones Land of Spiral. He responds with only cursorily,
And he does say, a man such as you would be very interested in Ustalav's past. You see, they were dominated by the undead merely a few hundred years ago. And if you do any traveling here, you can see that the taint remains. The stain on the land was not easy to clean.
I despise this taint.
I could see why you would frown upon it, but it does seem to be just a part of this place. It's almost as if it can't be separated. And I think this conversation continues. What is Eclipse doing?
Well, once Poppy is in the next caravan, Eclipse would basically say, "Hey, Wolf Boy, where you at?" All right, buddy, I'm gonna need you to give me that coin back.
He kind of goes back to his little pile of scraps that you imagine it's got this like divot in it, like he sleeps there, and he grabs the coin and he takes it over to you.
And Eclipse will take it and say, "Thanks for holding on to this." And then she's gonna hand him like a copper, regular, plain one.
And he kind of like runs around on all fours, excited, takes it from you, and returns it to kind of his little hidey place in the bed.
"Oh, what's your name?" All right. Nonverbal.
Make a sense motive.
Does Eclipse have a handle animal check?
Oh, God.
All right, sense motive, I have a 20. Unless it's under enchantment.
With a 20, you come to the unfortunate conclusion that this boy is nonverbal. He has this thick hair over him and is obviously considered an oddity with this group of people. Fortunately, he has found some people that consider him family because he can't speak and he doesn't really have the intelligence to do so. He must have been, you would think, reading into it, abandoned at some point and was taken in by this group, but he's just a child.
About how old?
He is roughly 8 years old.
Do you want to go on a ride on an invisible horse? Cool. She's gonna cast Mind Steed and like ride around.
Is she riding with him? Because you
yeah.
imagine he probably has no idea how to ride a horse.
No, she would basically be holding him half on her lap and like riding around camp.
And you can see he's doing this like happy.
All right, buddy, gonna need you to quiet down just a little. Good job. But, I mean, realistically, that's probably all she'd do to spend her night. She would get the coin back, because Kendra was safe. No problems there. And then she'd want to just be nice to the kid. She's got a soft spot for children.
Okay. And we come back to Ikmur in the covered wagon with Sajira. And Poppy has basically gone to sleep. You can hear her like very softly snoring. It seems that she's stable at this point and is just gonna need a lot of rest in order to be 100%. But Sajira is still keeping a vigil, and I think she's appreciative that Ikmur is a stranger to this group, is willing to sit with her and make sure one of her own is okay. And she pulls out this crystal clear glass ball. And it's kind of on a pedestal. And the pedestal has these brass symbols of a 5-pointed star. And she sits it in front of Ikmur and she says, "Well, Ikmur, while we wait, I am something of a fortune teller. Are you interested in a reading?
Well, it's kind of funny that you mentioned that because when we were in Ravengrow, we actually met a man, and he gave us a few, I think they were cards at the time.
Oh, harrowing.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
This is far more advanced than that type of magic.
Is it gonna hurt?
Oh, no, boy. No, it will not hurt. It will just see what is to come.
Well, then I guess I don't see any harm. Is everybody kind of in camp now, and everybody seems kind of safe? So I guess this would be a good time to do that.
Sit here. And she brings you kind of a pillow to sit on, and she has a pillow herself. And you sit side by side in front of this crystal ball. And she says, "Grab my hands, Ikmur. I will tell you what is in store for you, but you need to trust me in some respect." And she reaches out her hands to you.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you helped this girl, so I can trust you.
And so she grabs Ikmur's hands, and you see the ball begin to cloud. It's not clouded with white, but rather with gray, and then it turns to black. Ikmur, you can't really see anything in this crystal ball at this point. And Sajira's, she's still holding your hands, and I think Ikmur is kind of gripping her hands. He feels them go limp for a moment and probably tightens his grip as her head kind of lulls backwards and her eyes roll back. We leave this cavern and we open on a forest. The moon, high in the sky, brighter than it's been, maybe in years. We fade to two familiar figures. One, Kvalka Sane. The other, Rickman. They stand together in the forest, alone. At least for a moment. Until shadows descend on the forest. Shadows which become hooded figures. Almost in unison, they draw these silver daggers. Kvalka and Rickmet transform in the moonlight. Their clothes burst apart as they become part wolf, part man. They lunge on their attackers, but it's too much. There are too many of them in this moment. And it goes from a valiant charge to a desperate fight for life. Kvalka is surrounded in this moment. Rickmet, at the back of the group, knows that in order to save his own life, he needs to retreat. And he does. The hooded figures descend on Kvalka, and you hear one last pained howl at the moon, and you almost see the face of a wolf in that moon. You almost see the moon turn this red, this color of blood, as the Queen of Wolves is slain. And we fade back. and Sajira jerks away from your hands violently, so strong that Ikmur's not able to keep his hands on her. Boy, I don't know what to say. And she bows to you.
I don't think that's quite necessary. Was Ikmur able to see these things as well?
Ikmur could see these things.
Well, I mean, that was a pretty tragic, I guess, sight, I guess, but was it real?
And at this point, we're going to use the augury rules, which you will not know the answers to.
Okay. I'm super excited, though. Super excited.
I love this whole rule set. This is awesome.
Is it wheel or woe?
This Ikmur is veal and woe for you. You see, what I see is not a happy or a sad message. Unfortunately, I can't read it perfectly, but this will cause great pain in your life. Whatever it is, I don't know how to interpret it other than that I think you know what you are. Or you're starting to know.
Sajira, I really appreciate everything that you're saying, but I'm merely trying to lead our group into something better. You know, be better as people and things. You know.
And I think that is where we get to the woe part. These people you came here with, they are strong. They seem good people. Don't get me wrong. But you will lose them in one way or another. I'm so sorry for you, Ikmur, but you will not be able to stay with them forever, whether it's you leaving or them leaving. This I'm certain. I'm beyond certain. I know at some point you're gonna lose the people you love. And that is the woe here.
Well, I certainly understand that. They can't possibly be being nice to me just 'cause, you know, they want to be with me, but I think that we all just kind of ended up together, and right now we're just traveling to Lepidstadt, and if they stay, they stay, and I understand people leaving me. That's okay with me, I guess.
I hope for your sake, Ikmur, that they stay as long as they can. You're a strong boy, if you don't know it. I can see that now. And we fade from the tent, from the wagon, and on to a brand new morning. And it's morning time. What are you guys doing?
Throughout the night, I'm guessing Ikmur has kept watch at the top of the wagons, and in doing so, he probably needs to fill some time. And so I'm guessing he's probably using that whetstone that he got from that we got from the prison and sharpening his sword.
And Ikmur begins to sharpen his blade. And normally he's used to seeing like maybe a faint spark. But this time the spark is green. And it doesn't seem normal for sharpening a blade. And he kind of chops it through the air and he hears it whistle. He hears the long sword whistle more than it normally would. But he's not really sure, other than sharpening it, what he's done. So the next morning happens, and the rest of you are awake at this point. You've slept in your various, either the cart or on bedrolls, around the fire. However you decided to sleep, Ikmur basically stood vigil and maybe got 4 hours of sleep total. But I'm going to say, like, he's not exhausted because I imagine he will have time to just kind of sleep in the cart as you guys progress.
His one skill a day that needs to be refreshed was actually not refreshed overnight. Or it didn't need to be refreshed overnight, so he could very much so carry that over.
Okay. The beauty of being a fighter, you don't have much shit that you need to refresh overnight besides HP.
Exactly.
Matumbe prepared his 2 lesser restorations. So
okay.
Right away he can, after praying diligently to Pharasma, he can go into the tent with Poppy and blast 2 of those off. All right, not too bad. She gets 6 points of con back.
And she's pretty much good after what Sajiro was able to do for her last night.
And Eclipse will get up in the morning and she is disappointed in Ick. Yeah, I see the looks around around the room. People are very shocked by that. Eclipse is disappointed in Ick in her head because why wouldn't he stay close to the party? Instead, he stayed with the carnies. He's supposed to stay with us.
Oh.
So, she's going to spend most of her morning kind of getting her stuff together, maybe packing and like muttering under her breath, what did he tell them? Why was he doing with them the whole night? The whole night. Did they talk to him? Was he awake the whole night? What the heck were they doing all night? While she like kind of packs up her stuff.
As Lyra wakes up, she is going to draw her hero card for the day.
Bada bing.
The trumpet. Which is a shield, so she gets extra con.
Okay.
Woo! After yesterday.
It'd be nice for a fort save.
Yeah, that would have been helpful. And then she's going to go check on Poppy.
Okay, and Matumbe is already there, and she can see that Poppy is actually sitting up. Seems to be in better spirits, is eating some breakfast. Matumbe is kind of there. I imagine he pumped those lesser restorations into her and made sure that she was okay. So he's kind of holding her back, like propping her back up, making sure she can sit up.
Reciting some prayers to the Lady of Grace. But yes.
Of course. So that's what Lyra sees.
I think we're just packing up. We're ready to go. Probably a bit quicker than the larger party, the carnies. Mm-hmm. And so I think Ikmur would probably try to help what he could, but with his party first, but then again, still help out where he could with the carnies, just so that we could all get along going together.
And I think Sajira is the first to notice. Because she's been with Ikmur all night and she's seen the sword. She's the first to maybe do a full detect magic on it. Oh, Ikmur, this is different than it was yesterday. This sword, sharper, more powerful. What did you do to it?
Well, I didn't really do much. I just sharpened it a little bit with the whetstone. I mean, that's how you sharpen it, right?
She would tell you that it now possesses the keen special weapon property.
Oh my god!
Boy, I'm glad you waited for that.
Oh my goodness, this is nuts.
It is the warden's whetstone and the warden's sword. As long as you sharpen it once per day, it retains the keen weapon property for the entirety of the day.
Jesus.
So it is now a +1 keen longsword.
Flattered.
Do you regret not listening to Eclipse the first time now?
Well, Clip sharpened her axe and it didn't do shit. So.
Well, yeah, but she also tried to force it on Ikmur.
Yeah, that's fair.
He does not. This was Ikmur's doing the whole time.
And I think at the point, like the morning, there would be breakfast provided by the carnies. They would have cooked up something that's actually pretty pleasing. There'd be like fresh eggs and actual meat. You guys have been kind of living off of trail rations. Kendra would be again sitting with the sisters, kind of just like enjoying the moment, enjoying like breakfast by a cook fire, that kind of thing. And she would turn to you guys and she would say, Are we gonna keep going? Or do we stay with these people?
I don't know. I mean, kind of fun being with these very different folks.
Oh, I completely agree. I'm a little worried about them after this. I mean, they're going the same direction as we are. You guys are really strong. I don't have any say in the matter, but they have horses and carts, same as us. I don't know why we couldn't go with them a little while. They might have some information for us.
Yeah, free entertainment, and we just continue on our same way, so long as they don't slow us down.
Oh, I totally agree. I mean, it's no rush getting me to Adivion's house, but I want to get there for the trial of the beast. I want to see what's happening in Lepidstadt right now. I haven't been out of Ravengrow in a long time, and I'd like to experience just something big happening in a big town.
You know, if they don't slow us down much, I would not mind traveling with these troop. I have a lot of questions for my Mwangi friend over here. Did you know he is a prince from our land?
I didn't, Matu. I think he's lying to you.
Oh, I don't know about that.
You know, I've got a lot of letters from the Mwangi Expanse asking for money from,
God.
Jesus.
You know, I only sent them money one time, and they said that they could quadruple my money within a week. It didn't happen.
Oh, maybe there was a problem with the return letter. Maybe someone intercepted it. You should follow up.
Classic Wob.
Yeah, but I say we continue with them.
Okay.
As long as it's not going to slow us down.
I think at this point, Captain Caleb would come to the group and he would say, I am so grateful that folks like you stopped for a gang like us. You brought Poppy back. You did what I asked and more. I mean, you took down something in that forest that I don't even know what you faced out there, but you brought her back alive. You brought my family back alive. I would hope that you'd be willing to come with us. I promise we won't slow you down, but I also, either way, have this for you. And he presents this dagger again with this just absolutely beautiful handle. It's gold and flecked with sapphire. It seems like it almost has sapphire bits, but you can tell that like the sapphire is actually embedded in parts of the handle, and it's got this twist in the pommel. And he hands it to you guys.
Eclipse would step up to take it.
So Eclipse grabs it and immediately feels this powerful magical force.
Okay.
This dagger is a +1 human with a subtype skin changer bane dagger. So it affects things like werewolves or things like, anything that changes shape.
Eclipse will keep that.
It is bane against that type of humanoid.
Okay, cool.
Wow, that's cool.
Eclipse would definitely try to keep that in her possession. Would anyone, I guess, fight for that or speak up?
As long as you share what it is with the party, there's no reason for anybody to argue about it.
Lyra doesn't do any, melee combat, so she's not going to fight for the dagger.
Ikmur agrees. He's got the sword, so he's not going to...
Oh, he's got a +1 keen longsword? He's cool now?
Well, he's not really going to divulge that, so... but anyways, he's fine with Eclipse holding on to that.
Awesome.
So are you guys staying with the Crooked Kin? Is that the consensus?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't slow us down a ton, Ikmur would be very okay with that.
You guys spend your first hour kind of leaving with the Crooked Kin. Your cart and their caravan side by side, and you realize that a horse and cart goes relatively the same speed. You realize that you're going to make your 18 miles per day, whether you're in your cart or you're hanging out with them. But I think this especially weighs heavily on Ikmur. There are now multiple more people, at least 15 more people to take care of. I think it weighs on Ikmur because he has already expressed his sense of duty, his sense of protection for the pack, for this group of people he may not know that well that have just joined his party, basically. And so I think it weighs on Ikmur especially that he's going to have to be more vigilant. He's going to have to be watching so that he can protect this bigger group. And as the Crooked Kin introduce themselves to the party in their full glory, I need everyone to finish their drink because we'll see you next week.
Oh, I knew it.
Say ya.